have lived with chronic fatigue syndrome for most of my life. Come to find out, there's fibromyalgia and Lyme disease and other tick-borne illnesses, dysmenorrhea, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I have a lot of chronic struggles. Some of it was from back when I got malaria many times and almost died. All of the pain meds that I've lived on because of my severe endometriosis. And so there's a lot of history here. And I wanted to make this channel to just chronicle my journey with carnivore diet and seeing if it helps and what it will help. And hopefully help some of you and encourage some of you in your journey to find health as well. As exciting as it is to lose weight on this carnivore journey, the focus of my journey with carnivore and this channel is not weight. My focus is on health and getting the healthiest that I can. I say bedridden because it's easier than explaining it. I am 90% couch bound, and most of the day I'm in my pajamas. So if you come by unannounced, expect me to be scrambling for a sweater. That is just the life of chronic fatigue syndrome. Some people call it ME, fibromyalgia, Lyme disease. There's a lot of joy in life right now that wasn't there before. My journey has been one where depression and anxiety were very crippling for most of my life. I was at this point where I really just wanted the Lord to take me home. I just really wanted to die. And not to the point where I would do something about it, but there was a couple times in my life where I would be driving, which I can't do anymore because I'm too sick to drive, but I'd be driving along and I'd come to a stoplight and there would be a semi driving by, and this thought would flash through my mind: if I just drove, it would just inches and it'd all be over. These moments were very awakening for me, life-changing, made me stop and make some changes. The last time that I had this feeling was when I was with my husband for I think it was our 12th anniversary, maybe it was our 10th. I can't remember. He took me to this beautiful resort, and we were sitting just in the mountains here in British Columbia, Canada, and we were sitting overlooking this lake in front of mountains, and it was so beautiful. And I remember that moment just getting honest with my husband and telling him I really don't want to live anymore. And my husband said something to me that I will never forget. He said, I don't understand this because I love life. He's like, I'm so happy. And if you're someone that struggles with depression and you don't understand that statement, something's wrong. There's something wrong. Don't live like that. I don't like talking about my depression because it was just such a dark time in my life. Because of that conversation with my husband, God used that to just open my eyes to how severe it really was. I think when you have depression like this, you kind of get to this point where you think it's normal. I thought it was normal that everyone wanted to die. I literally was shocked when he said how happy he is. And his life's not super easy either. He has health concerns, pretty big ones. And for him to say that was just, it stunned me. And so around this time that a friend posted this story on Facebook about someone who had severe depression that got helped with some supplements. And I thought, what? I've never heard of this before. Like, I've tried so many things. I thought that the depression was a sign of weakness, that I could pray my way out of it. Turns out there's these specific probiotics that actually make a difference. And over the course of a year, I started taking these probiotics and a couple other things that go with it to help your body absorb. And I got to this point where this darkness lifted. And I don't know if you've ever had that feeling where the darkness lifts. It's like you're in this dark tunnel with no light at the end of it. And all of a sudden this light appears and you're like, oh, this is what life is like for everybody. There's actually light at the end of the tunnel. Oh my gosh, how did I live this long without that light? And then as you go along, and more months passed, I was like, oh, look at all the color. I had no idea. Oh my gosh, this is not fun to relive. I had no idea that there was so much beauty in this world because I couldn't see it. And it's not because I chose not to see it. It's because my brain just wouldn't let me. And all of a sudden, I remember going for drives with my husband and being like, Tim, is it always this beautiful? Is it always this green in the spring? And he said to me, yes, he's like, I think you just haven't noticed it before. And he was right. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen the color. And it was just green. There wasn't any flowers or anything. It was just the green. It just stunned me. And that was, I don't know, 6 months into my journey with these probiotics and dealing with my depression. And then over the course of the rest of that year, it's like layers of an onion kept coming off. And I just began to see how life could be when you don't live with depression. And there's joy in this world. I was doing some detoxes. My postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome kicked up so bad that I was having these attacks every day. Just would be unable to breathe. And so I would be heaving and trying to breathe. And the only thing that made that go away is if I would lay flat on my side. And this would happen in the middle of a group of women out at church. This would happen sitting in the backyard visiting with a friend. So this past year I've spent most of the time just on the couch. Chronic fatigue syndrome is like having 1,000-pound weights pulling on every single muscle in your body. So every movement, lifting your arm, is just like you're actually lifting weights. Like it just like drains the life out of you. And it got a lot worse this past year. For some reason that I'm so thankful to the Lord for, He gave me the energy to be able to go to church on Sundays. There was a few times where I would end up in an attack, especially when I would try to sing, and I would just have to go into the nursery and lay on the floor to catch my breath. That would take, a half an hour or so I pretty much missed the whole thing. But for the most part, most Sundays, I was able to actually go through the whole service, even stand and sing. God just gave me that energy, because the whole rest of the week it was like I was trying to recover from that, but it was so worth it. I am so thankful for that once a week blessing in my life of being around my church family and people that I love, worshiping the Lord with them, learning from God's word with them. I honestly have no idea how I was able to do that every week and then suffer so much the whole rest of the week. It's bizarre, right? I mean, it's just the grace of God. I don't know how I would have gotten through this past year without that. Loneliness is pretty intense. I am an extrovert. I'm a people person. And to be alone all day, every day, especially when you're this sick, is a lot. My past year has been a true challenge in my walk with the Lord as well, because being able to focus on Him, being able to read my Bible and actually take it in. I have a really hard time reading, listening to sermons every day, and I'm so thankful for that. This year has been a huge growing thing for me, humbling, like nothing else has ever been this humbling. I've had people come in and help me clean while I lay there. I don't know if you've ever experienced this before, but feeling that useless, that I can't even sweep the floor, I can't even wash my sink, and someone else has to come and do it while I lay there, is very humbling. Where I'm at now, even with all these tears, oh my gosh, you guys, where I'm at now is so much better than I was even just a few months ago. This is where carnivore comes in. If you've watched any of my other videos, I talk about this a lot. We were at the point where I could only eat meat, broccoli, and corn of all things. Everything else made me puke. Not puking it all the way out so I lost weight or anything, so I was just inflamed and gaining weight. Very like GERD, dyspepsia, like things just wouldn't go down. They wouldn't stay down. At the time we started looking into carnivore, I had actually started making beef jerky, just plain beef jerky for snacks, because I didn't know what else to eat when I got hungry, because my blood sugars were just all over the place. And then people started talking about carnivore, people that we know, family and friends, and I was like wondering, could this be the next thing to try, you know? And the more research I did, the more excited I got. We were planning on waiting a few weeks to start, you know, eat up all the food in the house and everything, but the more I studied about carnivore, the more I was like, I'm not eating vegetables. I'm not eating any of this. I just want to eat the meat. Like, I just don't even, like, if I know that this is making me sick, why would I keep eating it? And so, before Tim was ready, and while we still had a lot of food in the house, I went carnivore. I was like, I'm done. I'm not, like, and I went full on carnivore. No spices, only red meats. I was doing pork and beef at the beginning, and I've slowly cut out pork. I'm going to mostly focus on how carnivore can help your health, inflammation, less on weight. So we actually don't even have a scale. A size and a half smaller, which I'm so thankful for, so my clothes are fitting. I invite you to join along and hopefully share a little bit of encouragement in your journey, in your life, and maybe inspire you to try out the carnivore diet as well and see some of these positive results that I'm going through. I'm praying for you. Reach out if you have anything that you need prayer for, and just to chat. I would love to build a community online here while I'm stuck at home. I fully expect to be healthy and energetic and getting better monthly by the month, so that next year I'm going to be busy. That's my hope, and my hope for you as well.